What the barrel on the stove is the radiant surface. It is the second part of essentially a heat pump that's going to push the exhaust gases horizontally out of the stove. They'll even push them up.
It is important that the barrel be metal because it's important that it sheds heat. In the area where the gases are moving past the barrel, they're moving downward and they need to be cooling as they move to keep them flowing downward.
Yeah, and you can get stainless steel barrels. You don't really want to use copper barrels. They'll sort of melt.
Yeah, but any steel.
Yeah, any steel barrels. Where to get barrels? You can pick up barrels on the internet, hardware stores.
I've seen them at feed stores.
Feed stores.
Sometimes you can talk to brewers, winemakers, the rain barrel guy that's installing rain barrels for people. You're looking for a metal barrel, obviously. You can get custom stainless cylinders or other, heavier gauge metal, but the basic either food grade or fuel grade shipping barrels are very well made. They're made to withstand shipboard fires. So anything that's intact doesn't have, you poke a screwdriver, a pencil at it, make sure you don't have, if there's any rust, make sure that it's not through holes. You want something that's fairly clean and in good shape.
Cleaning them off.
Yes. You do not want to put a barrel with paint on it in your house and then enjoy the vapors from the paint as the barrel slowly heats over time.
Take it from experience. It gives you a really massive headache as your brain cells die.
So, you can take it down to an auto body shop or somebody, if you've got a friend that does sandblasting, and just have the paint cleaned off that way. If you don't have that option, we often burn the paint off the barrels, and we've developed a way to do that that is as clean as we can possibly do it. We'll wrap the barrel in an insulative material. A lot of times we'll include clay, like clay and newspaper, and make a layer that's, a half inch to a full inch thick of insulative damp material. If you don't have a lot of newspaper on site, I've also seen it done with damp straw, like maybe 6 inches of damp straw, just wrapped all the way around the barrel. The point of that is to hold the heat in so that as the barrel reaches that red hot temperature, the paint burns very quickly and does not put a lot of noxious off-gassy smoke products out into the environment.
Yeah, the clay has a tendency to hold on to the toxins. So doing what we call clay mache, which is you wet down sheets of newspaper with clay slip and wrap them around the barrel, we have a tendency to get a lot less noxious gases off of those.
And there may be some toxicity to the ash. We tend to do it in a place that's not somebody's garden.
Yeah.
But it's much easier to dispose of a solid ash than it is to deal with trying to scrub it out of the air as you're taking it off. So.
Either way, whether you get it sandblasted, whether you take a disc sander to it or a vibrating sander or paint stripper or any one of the other number of ways to take paint off a barrel, you're still going to have a hazardous waste disposal problem.
And the other thing to think about is if you are kind of squicked out by the toxicity of removing the paint and you go and buy a brand new stainless barrel or have somebody custom fab you a stainless barrel, there's a fair amount of toxicity involved in the process of refining and smelting the steel as well. And so there's always going to be a cost to using something like that, but you're going to have to look at what your local options are as far as lowering that cost as much as possible.